Tonight on The Factor Uncensored, Houston's ICE standoff. State leaders demand Houston scrap its new ICE limits. Millions in safety funds are on the line. Will the city back down or fight the governor?
Oil change. Save money. Gas high, rent high, groceries high.
What the hell is he talking about? Plus, a lot of people stress the hell out over the rising cost of everything. But how is the younger generation handling their stack of bills? We'll get into it tonight.
The Isiah Factor Uncensored starts now.
And welcome and thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored tonight. We begin with the massive ultimatum Houston leaders face tonight. Roll back the ordinance limiting the police's cooperation with ICE agents or lose $110 million in funding. The threat coming down from Governor Greg Abbott. Looking ahead to Friday, City Council will be holding an emergency meeting to decide if the immigration rule will be scrapped, thrown out. Meantime, state officials are investigating the city of Houston. Mayor John Whitmire warns the funding cuts are imminent, just as they're needed for FIFA coming to the city of Houston this year. Joining us to discuss this in this high-stakes showdown, the Executive Director of Fiel, Cesar Espinosa, politician Carmen Maria Montiel, and Houston City Council member Dr. Carolyn Evans Shabazz. So, Dr. Shabazz, have you made up your mind just yet? Friday's around the corner. You got to get up early, 9 a.m. for that meeting. Are you ready?
I'm ready. You know, I want us to talk about it. Certainly, I know that it's a very serious situation. But I do wonder, when does that end? When are local officials going to be given the respect of making ordinances to protect their citizens without the threat of taking the money? I mean, you tell me this time you're going to take this. Now, if I don't agree with you or we don't agree with you as a council, are you going to come back every time and take the money? Because really, it's not your money, it's taxpayer money. And the city of Houston and the residents of the city of Houston are entitled to all of the resources that are provided to the state for the city. And so I just wonder, you know, how people sleep at night thinking that they can strong arm people who were elected just as they were. It's just really a somewhat a lack of respect. And it's really something that I got a little upset about today. But
we saw that
actually
today.
There's a lot of misinformation about this ordinance.
So what's incorrect out there that you want to correct right now?
Where they're trying to act like we want the police to stop people and let criminals go. That is not what this is about.
And specifically,
there are two
this
types
says
of warrants.
what?
These are two types of warrants. One is a criminal warrant, which if you get stopped, whether you're legal or illegal, you will be arrested. And then you have a civil warrant, which is an administrative, which is an immigration issue.
In some instances, it's not a judge.
Exactly. And so it's no indication with the civil warrant that this person has committed any crime. And so, you know, that coupled with the fact that the 14th Amendment says you cannot hold people past a legitimate stop. So actually, what we pass makes it legal the way the law enforcement officers are dealing with the detainees. And so it was just really to clear that, because the water is really muddy.
All right. Carmen, let's bring you in. You feel like we should repeal this and work with ICE?
Definitely. You know, saying that you stop somebody and have not committed a crime, but that person is illegal, let's make clear that coming to this country illegally is a crime. So somehow it is a crime. Somehow the Democrats have decided that it's not a crime and we should look the other way. And we have proof, because you are the son of illegal immigrants and you got by and you defend that.
I was undocumented at one point.
It is,
yes.
Immigration is a federal law and it's a state law, and it's the responsibility for a governor to protect our citizens. Yet Houston, because of the sanctuary city that is being mishandled, because
Not a
sanctuary
sanctuary
was
city.
to protect illegal immigrants that knew about crimes, and now it's to protect illegal immigrants no matter what, decided to overrule and oversee not only the state but federal law. So definitely, we don't know who came across the border. We are putting our citizens at risk. Yes, I want ICE going against them.
All right, and Cesar, what about the point that this would violate SB 4, where we are supposed to cooperate as entities, municipalities with immigration?
I think part of the misconception is that this is somehow circumventing SB 4, when in reality it's clarifying that once a legal stop has been made or has been done with, you cannot hold people just to hold them for another agency based on a civil offense. Carmen is the type of person who would have said that Jim Crow was good just because it was the law. Carmen is the type of person that would have said segregation was good because it was the law. This is not.
It is a crime.
It is not a crime. It's a civil offense signed by an immigration deportation officer, not signed by an impartial judge.
It is a crime.
It is,
You
it
want
is
to
not a
soften
crime.
it, but
No, it's not a crime. I was undocumented here for 33 years, so I know what a crime and what is not a crime. And
So he broke
just
the law.
because no, I didn't. I was 5 years old when I came here. And okay, so once
So you
again,
think it's okay
Carmen would be
to
the
keep
type
on
of
breaking
person
the
that
law?
would think slavery was good if it
No.
was just because it was the law. It's exactly what it is.
You broke the
are
law
saying
and
that
you
people
want for people to continue breaking the law.
Absolutely not. But just because the law is the law doesn't make a law just. And
The law is the law, and this is the country of law. Because the law is the law, we have to break it?
The U.S.
Where is
President Trump is breaking laws every single day as he is going
That's
and
what you say,
bombing
because you
Iran, and he's going and bombing.
Okay, one at a time, guys.
No.
Syndrome.
And President Trump has broken the law when he molested little girls, but we don't talk about that. We just talk about
when we girls is called Joe Biden.
All right.
You need to
Really
stop
quick,
saying that.
so, Dr. Shabazz, have you made your mind up yet?
Well, let me just say, first of all, the way that ordinance is written, it is not a violation of SB 4.
Okay.
Because we have not told law enforcement officers to not call ICE. They can call ICE with every stop. The point is, if ICE doesn't get there before that legal stop is over, then they must, because
Small
of the
window of
14th
opportunity.
Amendment, let the detainee go. And that's just, now that's the law.
All right. Thank you,
So
guys.
let
And of
the
course,
criminal
once again,
go.
that's it. Once again, the City Council will be deciding this Friday at 9 a.m. So you can check it out on TV. What is it? Municipal channel?
HTV.
Yes,
HTV.
HTV, yes.
They'll be voting as well if you want to follow this. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Still ahead tonight, a dream vacation turns into tragedy. The family of social media influencer Ashley Janae is desperately searching for answers after her sudden unexplained death while celebrating her birthday and recent engagement. The latest on the case in just 90 seconds. Stay with us.
If you're injured here,
Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. What happened to influencer Ashley Janae? Her dream vacation in Tanzania has ended tragically, with the 31-year-old dying days after her fiancé Joe McCann proposed to her. Tanzanian authorities are now questioning McCann, and investigators have seized his passport. Meanwhile, her devastated family demands the truth. Joining us to talk about this developing story and mystery, criminal defense attorney Bayoji Kingbala and therapist Dr. Jasmine Boone. So for both of you guys, why are we so intrigued about this?
You know, it's one of those things where she was an influencer, so you feel like you can relate. You go into her life, you go into her relationship, right? And so we're pulled in and we feel like we're a part of it. So to have such a untimely demise and heinous, right? It kind of shocks us all. And so we feel invested in that way. We want to know, we want the answers, we want to know what happened because we're pulled into this.
And Bayoji, I'm not sure if people were joking or not, but when she was on her vacation and you could see her timeline, some people said he's going to kill you. And look out, girl, be careful, stuff like that. I mean, what did they see? What did they know that, police, they have yet to decide?
I mean, I can't speculate as to what they may have
Yes, you can. It's a fact. Speculate.
But that having been said, what actually happened was that they got into an argument, apparently. And the argument was so severe that the hotel workers had to separate them and put them into two separate villas, apparently a 10-minute walk from one another. And then afterwards, she was mysteriously found dead. So that definitely is something that raises an eyebrow as to what actually happened. Very suspicious indeed.
And if I could add, a lot of times the people from the outside looking in, they see blind spots, right? They see things that
we would not.
Yeah, because we're in it, we're in love, we're excited, right? And we may not see that gaze, or we may not see, a lot of these followers maybe have been through domestic violence and they saw something that looks familiar. Unfortunately, she has no reason to trust them. They're strangers, they're just her followers, but a lot of times—
in her mind, they could be haters.
Oh, 100%, right? And some of them were. But it often happens that from the outside looking in, we can see things more clearer than the person who's in the relationship.
And once again, we want to, like you always, you want to make it clear, he hadn't been charged with her death.
I was just about to say, I do think
as of yet,
we need to reserve judgment as to what occurred, because an autopsy has yet to been conducted. And I think the autopsy is supposed to be done by tomorrow, by Wednesday. And so once we get the results of the autopsy, I think that will definitely lead us into a direction of what actually happened. Another thing to look at is this happened at a nice hotel resort, at a nice villa. There has to be video surveillance. So I think once the investigators do their job, we'll have a better idea if she truly committed suicide, which initial reports said, or if there's something more sinister at hand here.
And of course, I don't want to discount Tanzania, but do you think they will do a thorough investigation like you would get in the States?
Considering that they rushed to a conclusion and said she committed suicide within early hours of the investigation, it does make you wonder if it's going to be a thorough investigation. I think that's where you have challenges when you have U.S. citizens traveling to a foreign country, and then you have to, in some ways, rely on the investigation of that country. America is going to have to perhaps exhume the body and bring the body back to the United States and see if they can do an independent autopsy if the investigation is not going as we would like it to.
And if they do that, they can charge him here.
Yes, they do have laws that allow for us to charge individuals who are American citizens that commit crimes against other American citizens. They can extradite, assuming, one, Zanzibar doesn't do anything with this, two, that there is enough and sufficient evidence for them to actually charge and prosecute them here in the U.S. This actually makes me think of the Shaquanella Robinson case that happened in Cabo. Nothing to date has happened because there just wasn't enough evidence based upon what Mexican authorities were able to yield.
All right, we want to thank you both for joining us here on The Factor tonight. Still ahead, a federal lawsuit targets entrepreneur coach Stormy over her business program. Authorities say she promised quick millions, but court records show most participants made nothing at all. Tonight, she answers the allegations in exclusive one-on-one. Keep it here.
This program is being brought to you by Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer.
Pay me to do that. They put this on my plate. I will not let, no, I don't do what they do. I do what I do. I'm a visionary. I'm a leader. But I would never eat a plate that looks like this. You couldn't even pay me $1 million to do that to myself. Oh my God. And I deserve better than that. That's low vibration.
Remember that conversation about low vibrational plates? Coach Stormy Wellington brought it to the forefront. She went viral after sharing advice on how people should not accept anything they are given, even when it comes to a plate of barbecue. The video got a lot of backlash. And years later, Coach Stormy admitting to improper marketing. Here's more as we talk to her. Stormy Wellington, also known by millions as Coach Stormy, is not ashamed to admit her humble beginnings. She was a woman who began her early life saddled to Section 8 and eventually on the stage surviving off of stripping. But that's her past. Her tenacity and aggressive work ethic elevated her to motivational speaker and saleswoman who excelled in the world of health and beauty marketing. Her base were African American women who also looked to her to achieve the same measure of success. Stormy has said she's made millions and helped make millionaires. That is, until the feds stepped in. The Federal Trade Commission accused a Florida resident of misrepresenting or helping mislead others about how much money they could make from multi-level marketing ventures. Wellington has since admitted her role and signed the agreement with the federal government that she won't mislead her followers again. But she says that's not the end of her journey. Let's chat with her tonight.
I'm grateful. God is good. I'm so grateful that God has favored me. That's what I would tell you.
And of course, you went through the FTC investigation. You signed an agreement with them. What's the status of that?
Basically, my career has been significantly affected by, obviously there are some people that I guess, I don't know where this came from. I really don't know how this happened. My career has been significantly affected by the allegations. But the truth is, what has happened is already in the past. One of the things that I have to change is my messaging. Being a serial businesswoman, entrepreneur, network marketer, there are some things that I use as strategies. I'm a manifester. I believe that life and death is in the power of the tongue. I believe that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I believe that you can manifest by affirmations and afformations. But I learned through this experience that you can't do that when you become a woman of my caliber. You can't say things that's, wishful thinking, or you can't say things that's about what you're going to do based upon your goals and dreams. So I spoke of things that now I know that I would tell any entrepreneur that's in the space of whether it's direct sales, network marketing, whether you're a coach or a mentor, be mindful of the thing that you say. Because even though, a lot of us who are at the top, we understand the power of manifestation and speaking things into existence, you could get yourself in big trouble.
Do you admit that you may have misled some people?
I tell everybody the same thing. If you go to buy a Tylenol from the store and it says it's gonna, get rid of your headache, and it doesn't get rid of your headache, did that negate the fact that hundreds of thousands of people took a Tylenol and they got rid of their headache? It just didn't work for you. So the truth is, I'm not gonna negate what I have done. I'm not gonna also negate that there are people that may have thought that they were gonna make certain monies but didn't do the work. So I'm being very sincere about the sensitivity of, can you have been someone that thought that you were going to make millions of dollars and didn't make it? But if you were real, did you do the thing that you were supposed to do to make the money? The truth is, I'm not going to deny who I am and what I've done in real life. I'm not going to deny what I know is real based upon what I did for me and thousands of people around the world. But again, I know for a fact that there are some people that feels like, oh my God, I didn't make any money. But then there are people that's like, oh my God, I made a lot of money. So I am very aware that you could possibly be like, man, I didn't win. But did you do the work?
They called it a multi-level marketing approach. And many people know that as a pyramid scheme. Would you call it that?
So no, network marketing, a pyramid scheme is when there's no products involved. I've been in the network marketing product space for almost 2 decades. You get into my business, you get products in exchange. You get into my business, you get specific products in exchange. You use the product, you sell the product, you sample the product. That's what the business is about. So a pyramid scheme is where you give money and you get nothing in exchange. Here, you get products, mentorship, coaching, systems, community, and if you use the product, you can get results.
So what's next? What's your next step for those who are concerned about you?
So I'm very grateful for those that's concerned about me, but those that know me know that my ministry is in my message. I never was the girl that was like, go get money, go get money. How I teach you to become mind, body, and soul is what makes you the money. So now my messaging is going to change. I'm not going to teach you to go chase a check. I'm going to teach you to chase after God, to chase after knowing yourself, loving yourself, embracing yourself, to go get real skills, how to manage your mind to create the life that you want. So my messaging in this new season is going to be about elevation, how to equip yourself with the necessary tools that you can change your own life.
Now, we just heard Coach Stormy's side. Next, we'll hear from one of the people who says she was misled by her. Keep it here on The Factor. And welcome back to The Factor. We continue our discussion about the federal lawsuit against entrepreneur Coach Stormy. Our next guest says she lost more than $5,000 to Coach Stormy's program, and she claims Coach Stormy used a flashy lifestyle to lure recruits in. Joining us now, Effie Best. Glad to have you on The Factor. What were your thoughts when you saw her interview earlier?
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I get what she's saying, but I get it.
and you said, I think over the course of working with her for several years, you walked away with earning $28
and 10 cents.
And 10 cents. That didn't even make sense to me.
Well, you know, you're supposed to like sell product and then also get people to work up under you. Mm-hmm. And it's called like an upline. And I had that, but it just never paid out. I don't know what happened in that process of payout, but it just never did.
And how long did you work on her program?
So when I did research today, surprisingly, I started in 2018 and I signed off around 2022. Mm-hmm. So it was a nice little time frame.
So the $5,000 that you lost, how did you lose it? Because we want to be very specific. You didn't just send it to her.
No, never sent her money personally.
Right.
It's buying inventory, you know, marketing, stuff like that. So it's basically the inventory, really, because in order to push like how she wanted us to push, you got to have inventory in stock. And we had a Houston store that we can actually buy from in person to make it more convenient, so we can buy more inventory and have it on hand instead of waiting for shipments. So that is another, it's all in the mindset of how you want to put yourself out there to make the money back.
And when you found yourself running on that treadmill and not going anywhere, at what point did you say, what the hell is going on here?
So I teamed it up with, I already did credit repair. So I teamed it up with that. Like if you signed up with me for credit repair, I was going to sign you up for getting the tea, the dietary tea, or the vitamins. I took the products myself. They worked. You know, I showed my, transition when I took the products. So it was very, I mean, I believed in the products, and to have somebody like her coaching you, or, you had coaching calls and stuff like that, it was motivational, right? It's more like a motivational thing.
And one of the things she said, if you give someone an aspirin or Tylenol, it works for many people. Some people, it just doesn't work.
Correct.
Did you do enough work?
I don't know what her standard of do enough work means. Because, like, I took the product. I was an avid recipient of the product. Like, I have years of emails of showing that my product was streamlined. Automatic. They make you pay on automatic, like automatic pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how you can keep your money up and get your dividends in, if you have it on that automatic shipment every 30 days. So, and then adding people on your team to do so. So that all plays a factor in how that downplays, and what they sell, you're supposed to get dividends off of that as well.
And the last time, 20 seconds we have, if you could talk to Coach Stormy in person, what would you say to her? Because I think she may be watching tonight.
I mean, just be careful.
You're scared of Coach Stormy.
No, I mean, because...
Be careful, Coach.
No, just be careful, because in different mindsets, people gave their all to do this.
Yeah.
I was okay. I was financially stable, so I didn't catch on. When I noticed she wasn't giving the game plan on how to win the money, I got out, because it wasn't benefiting me. Oh, I mean, to an extent, yes, I do regret. The product worked for the time that it did work.
What do you do now?
I still do real estate and credit repair and taxes.
Well, look her up. Let's help her make some money. Look her up.
Yeah.
Look up, Effie. Please, Effie. We can't
Pyramid
have you
schemes
making
don't work. They just
$28
don't.
no more.
No, for 5 years is a no-go. The math is not mathing.
All right, Effie. Thank you for joining us here on The Factor, and we wish you the best.
Yes, thank you.
Still ahead here on The Factor Uncensored, are you feeling the pinch in your wallet? The report confirming what many already know. Americans say their paychecks cannot keep up with the rising prices. We'll hear from younger generation about how they're coping next here on The Factor.
You're watching the Isiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored, and thank you for sticking around for our second half hour. Prices are still climbing everywhere, but paychecks are staying the damn same. How are young people keeping up? One young woman went viral, clearly stressed out about her finances.
I'm stressed out. I'm stressed. We should not be working like this. I work my ass off, and I can't even pay bills, bro. And they always say don't compare yourself to others, but I see people going to Coachella and like buying all types of this pointless money, and I'm over here can't even pay my rent, bro.
Well, you get what she was saying. A new study also reveals a harsh reality. 65% of Americans say their paychecks just can't keep up with inflation. Joining us to talk about it tonight, podcast host Lance Bledsoe, realtor Joseph Irvin, entrepreneur Bree Fleming, and influencer Jasmine LaCour. So, Jasmine, I mean, when you see this young lady crying, and I can feel it, you laughing, Jasmine. What's wrong with you, Jasmine?
Because
it's the audio in the background.
It's the music in the background. It's her crashing out. I want to say, like, sis, go get a therapist, because that is a crazy crash out to be on social media, embarrassing.
But can you see how somebody can get that way, constantly working and never making ends meet?
Absolutely. Because for me, as an influencer, I'm an entrepreneur. Then I have to have my school and my salon space. So with me, I write my own check. So I get it. But again, because I write my own checks, I'm like, girl, it's time to get more than one stream of income. You can't just rely on that one check nowadays with this economy. You have to have multiple ways to make income inside of your household to make things flourish, and for you to not crash out like that on social media and embarrass yourself in front of your friends and family. I hope she gets some help.
And Joe, you can recall a day when many of our parents, all they had to do was work one job.
Yeah.
Those days are long gone for many people now. I mean, it was a time, you wasn't born then, but where it could be just dad going to work and mom and the kids stay home, and those days are gone.
I still remember seeing my parents' budget at the table. Like, I would be sitting on the couch watching cartoons and then watching them, like, you know, kind of just have their, you know, conversations about it. I would say right now what you were alluding to is diversifying your funds. I mean, where we're at, a lot of times people say, like, oh, you know, get that good job out of school, but then often people just stick with that. They work in those jobs 10, 20 years. You're sitting there and those companies are talking about their financials. Sometimes it comes a point to where you have to ask yourself, am I just going to work at this job and climb the corporate ladder for what somebody else sees as like fit? Or do I even fit, like, you know, that narrative? You know, 3 weeks ago, I quit my corporate job. I was making right above like 6 figures. I mean, to me, when you live in Houston, that's not doing anything for you.
So that wasn't enough for you?
No, and that's going to be different for a lot of people. Some people, you know, like 50, 60, 70, you can live off of that. Other people, 200, 300, it just depends. For me, I know what I want for my life, so I stepped away from my corporate job. I learned what I did.
That's right, Joe.
And I'm going full-time real estate. As soon as I got my license, I hit the ground running. So.
And Bree, how do you feel about that? You looking both ways now.
It's interesting because I like, first of all, I'm also a real estate investor. So I own 4 properties. I also have an app with 35 million influencers on it. So I understand all sides, right? I also do want to say, because we're on TV, that 6 figures is enough to live in Houston by stats, though. Now, not by you, but let's take it back to the.
Hold on though.
I did say clearance suits.
I know that's right. But I did also say at the same time though, like 50, 60, 70. Like, I'm not alluding
I understand.
To,
Let me just finish my point. So my point is that that's for you though.
Yes.
But just talking about, you know, the point of the combo, we need to get back to the budgeting part. Like, let's get back to, you don't need to be living above your means. You know what I'm saying?
True,
a lot of this. Let's get to the real problem, right? You know, a lot of people are, and I'm coming from the point. There's 35 million influencers on my app. 90% of them are living a fake life. You know, so I have to be honest that, you know, a lot of people are are living above their means to get the next brand deal. They want the nice bathroom because they want some nice, content. They also want to impress other people that don't even matter, to be honest. Like, we live in this world of instant gratification. People don't want to do the work anymore. People don't want to get a skill. People don't want to go to school anymore, which is fine. But you don't even have to go to school for a degree anymore. You can go for different things. I still educate myself, and I'm a whole CEO of a VC-backed platform. People don't want to do the slow work anymore. People don't want to be bored. So I think we're in a time where you can make the money. The times are always going to be tough, you know what I'm saying? But y'all got to get back to making a business plan, applying for grants, like just really doing the work. But people just want a handout, and that's the problem.
Let's hear from Lance really quick.
Man, she pretty much took all the words out my mouth. Pretty much like she said, like, we got to go back to living in our means. Like how she said, the reason why she was crying and crashing out, because the main thing she said, she looking on social media, comparing herself to everybody else.
Is the thief of joy.
Why are you looking at comparing yourself to everybody else? Because you look at what somebody else is doing. So you probably could, like he said, he was making 6 figures, and I ain't gonna lie, if I was making 6 figures, I would be perfectly good.
We'll let you guys finish in just a second. We'll be right back after this break. They'll continue their conversation. And welcome back to The Factor. Tonight, we're exploring how young generations are surviving this economy. A new report confirms paychecks are failing to match rising prices. Our guests are back for the discussion. So, Lance, how do you survive?
I feel like now, like in today's day and age, especially like the economy, like you definitely got to have like multiple sources of income. Like whatever it is, whether it's a side hustle or investing in stocks, trades, or whatever you got to do to make extra money, you got to do that in today's day and age. Everything's so expensive now. Like gas is expensive. Like clothes, just for everything now, like cost of rent, everything now is super expensive. You can't just live off just one source of income and just have a job and expecting for you to just pay your bills and just still be able to do stuff that you want to do or buy stuff that you need or want. Like you gotta have like multiple sources of income. So that's why my generation, like a lot of us have multiple sources of income and side hustles because everything is so expensive nowadays. So.
And Joseph, are you taking a chance by walking away from that job and starting fresh, or you feel like you can do it?
Ask the question one more time.
You said you left a six-figure job to start in real estate. Were you ever hesitant about stepping out on faith like that?
Before I did it, oh man, I'm one of those people I get emotional. Before, so it was about a 6-month process. So of course, like, you know, you had to get the licensure and everything like that. But before, I was kind of in a place where it's like, okay, I'm gonna try and stay at this job for as long as I can. But then when I really started the real estate, I was like, realistically, this is a 40-hour per week job. Honestly, it's 50, 60. I mean, you have to
more
know
hours. Yeah.
It is. You have to know your community. You have to network.
Yep.
And what my company wanted me to do for them, I'm not going to do that. To me, you know, I'm 27. I don't want to be 50, 60 and like look back and be like, I didn't put my money on me. Like, you know, like I'm the racehorse on this track. Like I'm gonna, you know, invest in myself. Everything that they would talk about, like, you know, like the financials, Q1, Q2, Q3. You're only paying me like this salary, but you're talking about billions of dollars. I'm not for that campaign. Like, I've learned what I needed to inside that corporate job. Let me apply this to myself and towards my brand, which I have. So, and I'm still doing. So, a lot to what you were saying too, which is a big point. You do have to do the work. Realistically, I know in this first year to 2 years, it's not going to be easy. But with that, and we're talking about social media, people are not going to really talk about the struggle that everyone goes through. Like what she was saying, it's real easy for people to, you know how you're there. You know, like how you went through that struggle, and you're like real quick to say, like, you know, people are not, you know how you're already at that stage, so it's real quick to be like, you know, like, I'm not saying you're doing this. Your journey is not necessarily the same. You're not even putting in the work. I'm at that infancy. Does that make sense? That girl right there that was on that stage, even though, like, or on that video, even though I hate the audio, she's in her infancy, you know, like she's worried about Coachella. One thing that Kashawn asked whenever he asked me to come on the show was, do you feel that you look up to people on social media? A lot of people are looking for that gratification and you know, like that source, but I do not. To me, I want to be the person that inspires, but also too, whenever I have my kids and my family, I want someone that they look up to. I just don't want to pass down a name. I want to pass down a legacy.
Jasmine also. So your thoughts for those who may feel trapped financially, what would you tell them to get the strength to move away from that dead-end job if they're in it?
First, I would look at who's around you. Who is your support system? Do you have support? If you don't, you need to analyze your friends, your circle, and your family members to see who's working and what's not. You know? Then after that, get your money together. I highly recommend, if they don't have a financial advisor, get one as soon as possible. If you have a bank account and you're getting a check and you're getting direct deposits, you definitely have a financial advisor available to you for free at your local bank. So I recommend go do that. Set your portfolio up. Get a budget. A budget for sure.
All right.
Have a savings and
a lot of people have to figure out what the term because they don't know about no portfolio.
Oh Lord Jesus!
Come on now, you got to start from.
Get your money up. Get your money up.
Tune in to her page.
She'll teach you. Don't turn back. Tax day is just around the corner. So stand by. We'll prepare you for that in our own master class. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We're on the eve of tax day, and we're concerned about the scammers that are out there also using AI tools to steal your tax refund. We're talking with the experts in our Factor Learning Hub with tips on the cyber side. And to begin us, financial expert here, we have both will have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to share their points. We start off with cybersecurity expert Patrick Jones. So Patrick, I came up with this idea talking about making sure you're not scammed by individuals who are trying to get into your bank account. All they have to do is call you, get you on that phone. Yes. So what advice would you have for people out there?
So first and foremost, it's important for them to understand the multitude of ways that someone can come in and steal their information. So you have a phishing email, right? So that's when they're going to say, you need to take action right now, or else something's going to happen.
It's always that urgency.
Urgency is there. And then you have smishing, which is a text message, okay? And the text message will have similar wording, okay? It'll be a shorter message, but they're prompting you to take action immediately. And then you have vishing. Vishing is extremely important as well, because that's when you receive the phone call, okay? And then over the phone, someone is prompting you to take action immediately, okay? Whenever that happens, do not provide any of your information. First and foremost, if Bank of America or whatever financial institute is reaching out to you, they're not going to send you a text message.
Right.
The only time they're sending you a text message is with multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication is going to ensure that it's you trying to log into your information. So number one, folks, definitely, and when I say definitely turn on multi-factor authentication. It's something that you can opt into, okay? And then whenever you have your multi-factor authentication, it's also imperative that whenever you create a password, that now it's not just little Susie's name and, 3436, right? What you have to do now is incorporate a sentence, okay? A lot of people now, they have long sentences because at that point in time, it's going to deter the individual that's trying to confiscate your information from going and capturing your data.
Okay,
right?
our clock is counting down. We have 26.
Sure.
Keep devices and apps updated?
Yes, absolutely. So number one thing, you have iPhones, you have devices. It's imperative that you update, okay? There's security measures that you have to do that, and all of your apps as well.
And the last 10 seconds, keep your credit frozen.
Folks, please keep your credit frozen, because if they do in fact have your information, then they can go up and they can set up credit cards, things of that nature.
All right, thank you, Patrick.
Yes.
Let's turn to Lucy Petrie now.
Hi.
All right, tax day tomorrow, April 15th. What do we need to do?
It is here. Look, I want to get something out of the way. For the last time, the IRS is not going to call you and ask for money over the phone.
Hey,
Period.
Lucy, how you doing?
The IRS is not going to ask you for money over the phone. Neither is the Sheriff's Department, the Police Department, and most utility companies are not going to ask you for money over the phone. Do not give your bank account information over the phone. If you have a bill to pay, go to the institution's website, log in with your secure password, and then enter the bank information if you have to. You are never going to pay a bill with gift cards. I work with hundreds, thousands of businesses. Not one of them accepts gift cards as payments, okay? First of all, just forget it. If they are asking for gift cards, it's a scam.
All right.
And finally, monitor your bank account. If you catch it early, you may be able to block a fraudulent transfer. And if you use your credit card, you may be able to charge back and stop the fraudulent charges. So stay on top of the finances.
And in the last minute that we have with you, Lucy, for those who may have taxes to file. They have to file their final paperwork. Can they get a delay? Can they get an extension? How do they go about that?
They go to irs.gov/extension and file an extension. An extension of time to file is never, never, ever an extension of time to pay.
Got it.
If you
still have to pay.
You still have to pay. If you are afraid you're going to owe money and you won't be able to pay, you can enter into an installment agreement or make other arrangements. But do not file because there are penalties for not filing.
And really quick, do we still have to get the postage stamp before midnight, before it's April 16th?
It's too late for that. It's too late. IRS.gov. Yeah.
All right, Lucy, thank you. And Patrick Jones, thank you both. And of course, this is our learning curve. We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Sonora came up with a new name, the Learning Hub.
I love it. I like that.
We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. We want to give you a refresher because just last year alone, people lost $16 billion to scam artists who were able to get their banking account information. So Patrick Jones is going to go over the fine points for us once again in how to protect yourself and your bank account because people are looking to take advantage of you.
Right,
Patrick.
Absolutely. So number one, turn on multi-factor authentication. That's going to ensure that when you log in, what's going to happen is you're going to receive a text message. If that text message doesn't go to your phone, if it goes to another phone, then they can't log in. Let's just say they have access to your password. That's not going to happen. And then use strong and unique passwords. It's important. Folks, do not use a 5 or a 6-digit password. You need to be using 15, 16, 18 digits now. Make it very difficult for them to be able to crack your password.
And it'll be numbers and symbols along with letters.
All of it,
Okay,
all of it, all of it. You should have a mixture, okay? Keep devices and apps updated. It's extremely important, folks. You will receive a message, or you can go to your phone and you can see your apps that you have, and then there's gonna likely be a bubble that says 10, 11, 12, and what that is an indicator of your apps that need to be updated. 9 times out of 10, it is a security measure. Please update them on a consistent basis. Go ahead.
Keep your credit frozen, but I want to focus on those seniors who are out there. Tell family members to check on them. Make sure they're not giving their information to someone who may call them on the phone, because we see a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Really quick in the last 30 seconds.
Absolutely. My father is 80 plus, right? So he is a senior. I am constantly giving him guidance on what not to do. If there is someone calling you, asking you to take action immediately, Dad, do not do anything. If there is a text message that appears that it's coming from your local bank, Dad, do not do anything. If there is an email, right? Well, he's not really checking emails, but if there is an email, folks, do not do anything is the theme.
All right. Patrick Jones, thank you for joining us, our cybersecurity expert. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great night. We hope this will help you from our learning curve.